So just take note, class, that the terms used by PAS 1 are more suitable for profit-oriented entities, but that does not mean that PAS 1 cannot apply to entities in the public sector or for entities that are not for profit. So if you will be asked, does PAS 1 find application for the financial statements of non-profit entities? The answer is yes. But to make it suitable for non-profit organizations, class, then we may use terminologies other than the ones provided in PAS 1. But again, will PAS 1 still apply in the preparation of the financial statements of non-profit organizations or entities? The answer is yes. Now, the definition of terms, class, would always be a good source for possible questions, and these are questions that are actually considered as easy because, again, you will just be given with the definition, and all that is asked from you would be to identify what is the word or phrase that is being described by the question. So, of course, you should be familiar with the definition for general purpose financial statements. These are those that are intended to meet the needs of users who are not in a position to require an entity to prepare reports tailored to their particular information needs. Now, in more than one standard, class, the word impracticable is defined. It simply means that something that is not practicable, a provision in the standard that is not practical to apply. I tried searching in the dictionary, class. I don't think the word impracticable is an accepted word. But again, it is provided here, so definitely it can be asked as a question. So this is another example of a question, class, that you can actually answer correctly even without studying accounting, even without any idea on accounting, as long as you have a good grasp on the English language, class. Okay, if we try to read the definition, it says, applying a requirement is impracticable when the entity cannot apply it after making every reasonable effort. So the question could be, it is a situation or a condition in which an entity cannot apply a requirement from a standard even after making every reasonable effort to do so. And we call that impracticable. Now, I mentioned this one when discussing one of the questions from chapter 2, class. So PAS 1 actually tells us what comprises our financial reporting standards. And here it provides that the PFRS are standards and interpretations issued by the IASB, and they comprise of the following: International Financial Reporting Standards, the International Accounting Standards, the IFRIC and the SIC interpretations. So even though they are just called as interpretations, class, they still form part of our financial reporting standards. So the Philippine equivalent of the SIC interpretations, class, is our PIC interpretations. So as I've mentioned before, when discussing one question in chapter 2, class, if it's an interpretation issued by the Philippine Interpretations Committee, then that will also have the same authority as our Philippine Financial Reporting Standards and Philippine Accounting Standards, because the interpretations themselves are considered part of your financial reporting standards. So common wrong thinking for students would be that the standards are only composed of the PFRSs and your PASs. Again, we include the IFRIC and your SIC interpretation. If you want to go over what comprises the full PFRS, class, including the interpretations. So here we have PFRS 1 down to PFRS 17. Then we have our PAS from PAS 1 down to PAS 41. Then you have IFRIC 1 down to IFRIC 23. And we have SIC 7 down to SIC 32. Again, all of these comprise our Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. But do not worry, you are not expected to know all of this. Even our textbook, class, has not yet incorporated the interpretations, the IFRIC and SIC interpretations. Now, moving on, this is not the first time we encounter the term material or materiality. The consideration of materiality class is very important class. When we say material, it refers to omissions or misstatements of items that could individually or collectively influence the economic decisions that users make on the basis of the financial statements. So there are two types of materiality class, materiality as to size and materiality as to nature. So there may be amounts that are considered material for a small entity but are considered immaterial for a large entity. But there are items where their omissions or misstatements would be considered material regardless of whether the entity is a small or large entity. Next item would be the notes to the financial statements, which is again considered also as an equal component of a complete set of financial statements. So our notes contain information in addition to those that are presented from your statement of financial position, statement of profit or loss, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flows. So all important information that are not presented or could not be presented in your other financial statements are going to be disclosed in the notes to the financial statements. So the notes provide narrative descriptions or disaggregations of items presented in the other financial statements and information about items that do not qualify for recognition in those statements. So it's possible, class, that an item will not qualify for presentation in your balance sheet or your income statement or your statement of cash flows and your statement of changes in equity, but it must still be disclosed and therefore it will be presented in the notes to the financial statements. Everyone is expected to have an idea already of how the financial statements look like. As to the four mentioned financial statements, class, they are mostly presentation of figures, class. For your balance sheet, it provides you with your assets, liabilities, and equity. For your income statement, it provides you with your income and expenses, revenues and gains, expenses from operations, and losses. While your statement of cash flows show you the movement of cash in the entity and whether they arise from operating activities or from financing or investing activities. And the statement of changes in equity, as the name suggests, presents the changes in equity. We look at an example of those financial statements, class. They are predominantly presentation of figures or amounts. So here, an example of our consolidated statement of profit or loss for 2016 and 2017, you will be presenting the revenues, then deduct your cost of sales to get your gross profit and deduct all the other expenses. So it's understandable that there may be items that are considered to be important but will not have any place in these financial statements. So they would now be presented in the notes to the financial statements. So this is our balance sheet. We have our assets, then we have the liabilities and the equity, then the statement of changes in equity. A single column is devoted to every component of our equity wherein the changes on those components will be reflected. But again, please do not be overwhelmed with the presentation. This is actually complicated and comprehensive example already. In fact, it is already a consolidated statement of changes in equity. So it's understandable that there will be a lot of components for our equity. When you were still discussing basic accounting, your changes in equity will just show you the beginning balance of your capital, then add additional investments during the year, you add the profit or you deduct the loss, and you deduct also the withdrawals during the year, and that's it. That would already be our statement of changes in equity. For a corporation, it would be more complicated because our equity now will have components: the share capital, the share premium, your reserves, and your retained earnings. But again, there may be a lot of reserve accounts, and they would each be provided with a single column to properly present the changes in those components. I'm just trying to show you of how the financial statements look like. Then your statement of cash flows. So this one is using the indirect method. We begin with your profit, make adjustments for non-cash items, and make adjustments for changes in your current assets and current liabilities. Again, class, do not worry, class. We're just going over them. So going back to pass 1, again, your notes provide descriptions of items that exist in the other financial statements, or it will provide you with the disaggregations or the breakdown of the amounts that are reported in the other financial statements. I always emphasize this class, the notes to the financial statements is considered as a financial statement as well.